Folks, welcome to the second scrimmage out of 5 here in the 2023 Audubon Green Wave Baseball preseason here from the Hank Greenberg Field. Yesterday, well, the weather didn't play in our favor. Nobody even took the field before the game was postponed until 1 o'clock today. It was probably postponed at around 9 a.m., so nobody was really even here working on the field when the game was postponed. But regardless of that, we are here, and the West Springfield Terriers are in town of Southern Massachusetts. There are 2 schools in Springfield, Springfield West and Springfield Central. I made graphics for both, and guess what? 50-50 shot and I got it right? So West Springfield was 14-7 in 2022. They were in the Valley West Conference of Division II, which for the New Jersey folks that are watching this, basically there's Group 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for New Jersey, and Massachusetts works the same way. It's based off of school size and based off of how big your school is. So like for New Jersey, a school like Cherry Hill West or Vineland will be Group 4, but a school like Audubon is Group 1 because we're a lot smaller and take up a lot less space. But West Springfield, they traveled here on Friday. They got about an inning and a half in versus West Deptford before, well, the rain came. Audubon's going to have 3 more scrimmages this week, all after the seniors leave for senior trip on Sunday, going down to Disney World in Orlando. Audubon's playing Lenape on Tuesday, Deptford on Thursday, and Triton on Saturday. Everybody's getting ready here, so we'll focus our attention to the field, and we'll be right back in a minute with more game previews, starting lineups, and first pitch here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Folks, here's the starting lineup for the West Springfield Terriers. There's going to be Owen Hall at shortstop, Nick Dwyer at second base, Michael Mahan in left field, Chris Torres on the mound, Colby Harrington at third base, Joey Ignagneri at center field, the Curran brothers, 7th and 8th at first base and right, Salvador Berti at the DH spot, and Ryan Ross-Messi in the 10th spot. Meanwhile, for the home side Audubon Green Wave, we'll take a gander here at their lineup, which consists of mostly the same stuff from yesterday, except a slight change at the middle of the order. It's the same 5 as before: Tyler Wiltsey, Charlie Cupsetta, Scott Lynch, Charlie Grady, and Ryan Zimmer. Bryce Dempsey batting 6th instead of his brother Jack. There's Zach Beebe 7th, Nick Caladros 8th. There is Joey Slavin 9th. He will be starting today. Trent Bannell 10th, and Gabe McCracken 11th. There we go. Green Wave taking the field here from Hank Greenberg Field, the home of Audubon Green Wave Baseball. You may notice something different. The green and gold is in full display this afternoon. The players got their jerseys yesterday, but just today was their first opportunity to showcase them in its full glory. The defensive alignment for the Green Wave: there's Joey Slavin on the mound, followed by Ryan Zimmer at catcher, Scott Lynch at first, Bryce Dempsey at second. We have Tyler Wiltsey at short. At third base is Nick Caladros. Left field is Charlie Grady. Center field is Charlie Cupsetta. And right field is the senior Zach Beebe. Remember, Audubon will be without their 3 seniors, Charlie Grady, Scott Lynch, and Zach Beebe during senior trip next week. but that'll be a good opportunity for some of the sophomores, freshmen, and juniors to get opportunities. As Hell's Bells by AC/DC rings out throughout the ballpark. Very excited to get this one underway versus the West Springfield Terriers. West Springfield went 14-7 in 2022, finishing again in the Valley West Conference. It'll be Owen Hall. Hitting for the West Springfield Terriers. About 3.5 hours away, they made the trip on Friday, and on Sunday, they play their game versus Audubon. Joey Slavin, the junior, on the mound. He kicks and deals for the first time in 2023, and it's a hit by pitch. Well, that didn't take long. So Joey will recoup, and he will face their second hitter, Nick Dwyer. Second baseman today here for the Terriers. First pitch, upstairs and away, 1-0. A junior, class of 2024, sporting the number 12, Nick Dwyer. Only had one at-bat in 2022, but sported 2 walks in a May 5th game versus Springfield Central, as there is a strike. Heavy hack by Dwyer, and it's 1-1. Beautiful weather this afternoon, just about 1 o'clock local time. If you're joining us all the way from Massachusetts, welcome. I know I gave out a lot of business cards to the coaches of the Terriers organization, Garrett Kinzera as well, and some of the fans that have made the trip all the way from southwestern Mass to get here for a scrimmage. One. Dwyer bunts. It goes right back to the mound. Throw to first is going to be dropped by Hunter Lowe. And that will be an error. It seemed like he had a little bit of trouble collecting it, and maybe he caught the ball, regathered himself and tried to make a tag, but Dwyer was safe. There's a strike. Runners on first and second here with nobody out in the top of the first. Slavin in some early trouble facing number 30, Michael Mahan. Mahan, another junior for the Terriers. Facing the lefty, Joey Slavin. Lefty on lefty matchup here with a runner in scoring position for the Terriers. Coach Knoll directing some commands to his 9 men in the field. 0-1. Showing bunt again, but pulling back on a breaking ball. It's 1-1. Yeah, Hunter Lowe at first base for the Green Wave. Here's a ground ball back to the mound. Another bunt, and it will be another bunt keeps happening. Yes. So bunt single by Mahan, bases are loaded. And this brings up the cleanup man, Chris Torres. As Slavin already with his back against the wall in his first scrimmage of the year. Torres mostly a pitcher. Only had 3 at-bats in 2022, as that makes the count 0-2 on a foul tip. 3 at-bats, a couple of hits, and an RBI. Did darn good at the plate. I mean, I guess that's why he's batting cleanup, but 14 innings for him on the mound this year, and 34 strikeouts. There's a grounder back to the mound, goes past Slavin, throw to first is not in time, and just like that, 4 straight base runners reach, and the Terriers lead 1-0. So all 4 men reach for West Springfield, as something that's not really Slavin's fault. He's throwing strikes. The only problem is that first pitch plunker to Owen Hall really kind of changed the tone really quickly, as the first pitch is a strike right down Broadway to the 5th man in the order, Colby Harrington for the Terriers. 0-1. Swing and a miss, set a ball down in the dirt. West Springfield doesn't have their jerseys yet, so that makes it a little bit more complicated, but I'm just going off of the lineup that I have. So I may be inaccurate by the time the game is over, but that's the way we are. Fly ball center. Copsetta's there. Runners tagging. Throw to the plate is going to be cut off by Hunter, and it is 2-0 West Springfield. So now runners will stand on first and second, as West Springfield, with 1 out now, will bring up their first, or rather their 6th man in the order, Joey Ingegneri. I apologize if I butchered that name, but I always make my best effort to, because West Springfield gave me first names for their box score, so I kind of was like, okay, I'll go off of that. So when I'm looking at the last names, Massachusetts has a very similar website for high school sports reporting, just like NJ.com. Theirs is called Mass Live. It's owned by the same company that owns NJ.com, which is Advanced Local Media, as that one's inside. But they have basically the same, it's the same layout, the same user interface. Maybe a couple things are changed, here and there, but it's mostly the same site, just for a different state. There's a strike on the outside corner. Slavin paints it well, and it's 1-2. Bless you. It's been a long day so far. If you've been following Dan Wilkins Broadcasting on social media, actually, let's hold up here. Here's oh, it just, okay, it reactivated itself. We'll figure it out in between innings. The 0-1 is in the dirt on what looked like a sinker ball, and it's 1-1. Like we said, 2 out of 5 Audubon scrimmages this season. 3 of them will be next week: Lenape, Deptford, and Triton. Slavin looks back, kicks and deals. upstairs. 2-0. Audubon has always been a kind of school to play bigger schools. Even though they're Group 1, they have not been Group 2 since 2015. And the last time Audubon scrimmaged a Group 1 school, get this, 2013. It was Gloucester City, which used to frequently scrimmage Audubon. In 2013 was the last time that they did, but I think that Gloucester back in the day was not a part of the Colonial Conference. And here's the 3-0 upstairs to Curran, and here comes what I presume is his brother. Bases are loaded again, and trouble for the Green Wave as they're already trailing by 2, but the question is, can the offense make it up? So a mound visit here between catcher and pitcher, Slavin and Zimmer. Decent turnout today, Sunday afternoon. Again, if you're just joining us, whether you're in Jersey, Massachusetts, or anywhere else in the world, welcome to coverage of Audubon Green Wave Baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, please drop me a line at Dan, D-A-N, Wilkins, W-I-L-K-I-N-S, show, S-H-O-W, at gmail.com. Here's the first pitch to Curran. That's a strike. 0-1. Slavin's doing a good job of painting the corners. I made a critique of his command and his control earlier in the offseason about, you can throw as hard as you want, but if you can't throw strikes, that's really going to hurt you. Because that one's down low, inside, and it is 1-1. Kind of like Jose Alvarado. He's an amazing pitcher. I mean, I wouldn't be able to hit 102 if I had an oar, but the problem was that he couldn't throw strikes. So he gave up a lot of walks, gave up a lot of hit-by pitches. And if you can't control your pitches, not only are they going to be wild, they're going to be right down the middle when you don't want them to. And they're going to end up causing, hits and home runs aplenty. 1-2, Slavin trying to reduce the damage. There's a ground ball over the head of Joey, going back, and Wiltsey could not get there. A second run is going to try to score, and Zimmer could not get him as he came in standing up, not even attempting a slide, trying to come in there like a soldier in battle, and it's 4-0 West Springfield. So now the runners will stand on first and second again, as West Springfield now will bring up their 8th man in the order, which is Salvador Birdie, excuse me, number 40. First pitch is a ball. West Springfield's a young team. Have themselves a lot of unique talent as they've put up 4 runs on Audubon in the first. Kind of reminds me of the Cinnaminson game, That one is outside 2-0. Audubon played Cinnaminson last year, I want to say May 18th, something like that. They were down 4 in the first inning, and then they rallied back and got 6 runs, and that's how the game ended, 6-4. So Cinnaminson, the Pirates, they scored 4 runs in the first, didn't score again. That one is high and away, 3-0. Down to Birdie, B-E-R-T-E. Slavin again with his back against the wall, down by 4, and there is a compensation strike. It's 3-1. Planes flying overhead, headed down to the Philadelphia International Airport. A beautiful sight here on a beautiful day here in Audubon.
A little bit clearer than the other day.
Much clearer. And that one's ball 4. That one was a clear ball as the bases will be loaded again. Slavin again running into trouble, as Ryan Ross Macy will come to the plate. 2023 senior, wearing number 8. Yeah, 59 degrees here at first pitch. Wind blowing west at 13 miles an hour. So the wind is blowing out to left. So that will be an interesting spectacle to see if maybe Scott Lynch tries to hook one down the line and get it over to 330 side. Very low humidity today. The next scrimmage will be on Tuesday, 54 degrees and partly cloudy, so that'll be nice. Outside again, 2-0. Charlie Capsetta trying to give him some words of encouragement from about 300 feet away. telling him to, get it under control. Has to count as 2-0 to Ross Macy, and that's outside 3-0. I'd imagine that, you want to get his innings in no matter what the score is, because in scrimmages the score doesn't really matter, but it's more about getting the scheduled pitchers in no matter how good or bad they are, and that's ball 4. So everybody will go down the conga line 90 feet, and West Springfield plates another run, 5-0 already. Yeah, that's not good. That's a tough spot, and Wade Geis is going to go out to talk to him. I wonder if they're going to pull him or if they're just going to talk to him. But like, you look at Major League spring training, and no matter how bad somebody's getting shelled, they stay in the game because they're scheduled pitchers. So unless they're hurt, everybody's kind of running on a rigorous game plan. Maybe for the Phillies, Wheeler throws the first, and then Falter throws the second. Dominguez throws the third, and Nelson throws the fourth. It's a matter of getting in your innings no matter what the score is. Because in spring training games like that, yeah, you'd love to win the game, but the score at the end of the day doesn't really matter. Audubon went 2-2 in their 4 scrimmages last year. As the first pitch to Parker is down low. The last hitter in the order for West Springfield. They could very well bat around here in the first inning. 1-0 to Parker. All again. Slavin really having a hard time controlling the baseball. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and the 2-0 pitch to the lefty Parker in a lefty-heavy West Springfield lineup. I guess this is why they threw Slavin out there, so that he could get experience versus hitters of the same handedness. But right now it is not working out in his favor. 3-0. In the bottom of the first, once we get there, it'll be Tyler Wiltsey, Charlie Copsetta, and Scott Lynch due up for the Green Wave, and there's a compensation strike. As I've said before, this is not a conspiracy theory, this is just how the game of baseball works. On the count 3-0, the strike zone expands a little bit. There's a little bit more leniency. On 0-2, it shrinks. It's very difficult in high school baseball to get, 4-pitch walks or 3-pitch strikeouts. Slavin's back in at another fastball. If he just keeps pumping the fastball down the plate, you got the last hitter in the order, probably less likely to get the ball out of the infield. It's 3-2. Bases loaded, everybody's running, and a foul back to the screen. If you're just joining us, 5-0 is the score, and no, not in favor of Audubon, in favor of the other guys. I feel like ever since I started broadcasting for Audubon, I feel like that's been the exception, not the norm. But Audubon is trailing, and they'll have a lot of work to do when they go back to the dugout. Another foul back to the wood paneling back there, and it is 3-2 again. Count is full. Payoff. Inside, and we get another run. Or we give up another run. It's 6-0. Wow. And Noel is going to pull the plug right here. He's coming out. So an early departure for Joey Slavin, not what he wanted in his first start. As 6 runs allowed in 2/3 of an inning, and we will see who replaces him. It will be Scott Lynch. So Scott Lynch, 2023 senior, going to do some damage control. We'll be right back after this. scoreboard speaks for itself. Scott Lynch is entering the game in disaster relief as the first pitch is inside. Somebody get the Red Cross. It's 1-0. 6-0 West Springfield. I understand it's a scrimmage, but if this is a precursor to the season to come, then that's not a good sign, because this is the equivalent to a New Jersey Group 2 school, which, as Scott Lynch just dropped the ball, he let the ball completely go by his glove. Coach Horan getting very agitated. I mean, hey, if there's been a couple times this year where the Phillies got blown out in spring training games. It's like 16-3, 17-0, something like that. That is a strike call, 2-1. It doesn't matter whether it's a scrimmage or not. A loss still hurts. Still hurts your maybe not your ego, but like your confidence. But it's 3-1 to Owen Hall, who got hit by a pitch the first time he came up to the plate, and Scott Lynch delivers another walk. Oh my God. 7-0 West Springfield. I mean, if I wanted to watch people go from point A to point B and go all around a square, I'd go to the old folks' home and watch a square dance. As that's a ball inside. Oh my gosh.
The thing you got to worry about the most, though, is how it affects your pitchers.
Oh yeah.
Even a preseason whooping can hurt their confidence.
Yeah. It can hurt their morale as they go forward, because Scott Lynch was not a bad pitcher. He had a 3.3 something ERA. That one's fouled back towards the school buses and lands on Hampshire Avenue. 1-1. So yeah, he wasn't a bad pitcher, but as soon as the Terriers got their momentum, they just never let up. Walk after walk. They don't even need to swing the bat because they're getting free trips every time. 2-1 is what has been a roller coaster of a first inning, except it only goes in one direction. Fly ball to right. Beebe drops the ball. It lands off his glove.
That was a tough one.
It was a tough one. It'll bring in 2. It might bring in 3, and it does. A throw sails over home plate, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is 10-0 Terriers. They have put an absolute shellacking as the runner, Dwyer, will get all the way to third, and that is the only runner on right now, but he cleared the bases on a line drive to right that split the gap. Beebe made a valiant effort to get there, but just missed. I mean, it hit off his glove and popped out at the wrong time. I almost watched it in slow motion.
Yeah, that was painful.
Yeah, I thought the inning was over. I thought I could sit down finally, but alas, I cannot. Ground ball, foul. I don't know what happened there. It seemed like Caladros had to force his way around the runner to get to where he wanted to go, but oh man. Ground ball, out to Wiltsey, throw to first, hallelujah. A 10-run first inning for the West Springfield Terriers. We're going to take a quick break, and we might take some Advil. It's 10-0 Terriers going to the bottom of the first. Do I really? The scoreboard says itself. It's, I mean, the scoreboard is not a sentient being, but it can speak without words. The first pitch to Tyler Wiltsey is a ball. It's 1-0. Yeah, 10-run inning, West Springfield. That's not fun, is it? No. Walk after walk after walk was the story of the inning. They did more walking than they did running. It's 1-1 to Tyler Wiltsey. Remember, was voted Freshman of the Year by NJ.com for the sport of baseball, obviously. But, I mean, he's a star athlete in any sport that he plays in. He could probably play billiards and still be an amazing athlete. He can just walk onto any field and do his magic. I mean, he played soccer for basically the sole reason of playing with his brother. As there's a fly ball, center field. This one's going back, and it is gone! Home run, Tyler Wiltsey! Kicking off the preseason with a solo shot out towards the track in center, and it is 10-1. Cutting into the deficit pretty quickly.
Well, at least we're not going to get shut out today.
So that makes it a 10-1 game. And yes, we will not. He's going to take a strike.
Okay.
So 10-1, Audubon getting back into the rhythm of things. There's a strike. 0-2 quickly to the junior Copsetta. Yeah, he hit it right into the pit between the outfield fence, the permanent fence. And the track. 1-2. Charlie. Fastball. Couldn't catch up to it, and there's one down. So here's Scott Lynch. I'm sure that after what happened in the first inning, he may have some retribution in his future and may have some revenge to take. There's a foul ball back to the screen. 0-1. Yeah, Scott Lynch doesn't hit the ball to right field. I don't know what they're doing, but the center fielder was telling the right fielder to move along because he might push the ball. But honestly, I don't want to say it too loudly, but he doesn't. He doesn't really do that. It's 0-2. 1 out, and a 10-1 ball game after a Tyler Wiltsey home run to center field. First home run of the spring season in an official game, because the only other ones that we saw were in inter squads, Charlie Copsetta and then 2 from Scott Lynch. He had 6 RBIs in that green versus gold scrimmage on March 22nd. And that one is a ball that pops out of catcher's glove. Pops out across his glove. Fouled back to the screen, and it is 2-2. School buses have been lined up here along the first baseline for a couple of days now. They're probably going to be the ones that take seniors to Philadelphia Airport for senior trip. They got to leave at 4:15 in the morning. Line shot goes through the 5-hole of the pitcher. It's stopped before it can go into the outfield, but it's a moot point as Scott Lynch gets aboard with a single. And they're going to pinch run for him here with the substitute runner. For the more casual fans watching at home, this is just a high school thing, not a regular Major League Baseball thing, but number 22 at first base. Players just got their jerseys yesterday, so probably the players of less seniority have to settle for higher numbers. I think my buddy Hunter Lowe, he has the highest number at 27, which is the same number that he had last year. A lot of players seem to opt for the same number that they had before, as it's 0-1 to Charlie Grady. Runner on first, and he'll throw back, nothing doing. Yeah, Charlie Grady's still number 7, Ryan Zimmer's still number 1, JJ Stocklin is still number 8, Scott Lynch still number 17.
You're still number 92.
In the dirt. Yeah, she was talking about how my number is 92, and there is an interesting story behind that. I should wear my Audubon All-Star jersey to a game one time. But yeah, I was number 92 because back when I was in Little League, they wanted me to be a part of the All-Star team, I think as like a reserve or something. Whoa, here he goes, out to second base. He beat the throw, but did not beat the tag. He got picked off going out to second base, and now the bases have been wiped clean, and it is now 1-1 to Charlie Grady. As I think that's a freshman move right there. I mean, it happens, but down by 9, it hurts a little more than if you're down by less, as there's a swing and a miss.
But now's the best time to practice it.
Yes, I agree. Now is the best time to get your mistakes in, you know, and be a little better during the regular season. 1-2. Inside and a little low. 2-2. Looks like some folks from the spring track team taking this Sunday afternoon to take a jog or a run around the racetrack. Standard quarter-mile racetrack out there in center field. And there's strike 3. Grady watches it, and the inning is over. West Springfield will try to tack on some more runs here in the second, and it is 10-1. Tyler Wiltsey hit a homer, but that's all she wrote. We go to the top of the second. 9-run lead for the Terriers. We'll go to break. We're back in the top of the second. For lack of a better word, I just got dumped on by a bird. It just hit my right hand, but yeah,
It's supposed to be good luck.
maybe being down by 9, maybe that'll change.
Yeah.
First pitch. Line shot out to short, picked up, knocked down, and out by maybe a step. I don't know if we got that play. Wiltsey bobbled it, knocked it down, and was able to pick it up rather cleanly for the first out. By the way, defensive change for Audubon. Now at first base is Joey Slavin, and in left field is Jason Stocklin. Jason Stocklin, one of the first freshmen in program history to throw a no-hitter, did that last year versus Washington Township. And I don't know the last time that Audubon no-hit a Group 4 school. That was during the Thank You Classic last year. By the way, DWB will be covering 10 games of the Thank You Classic across Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during the weekend of April 28th through the 30th, as it's 0-2. Very excited for that. Very excited. Big thanks to Bill Gore, the assistant coach at Gloucester Catholic, for giving me that opportunity. It'll be 2 games in Pittman on Friday, and then 4 games in Franklin Township, about 30 minutes south of Audubon, on Saturday, and then 4 games at Joe Barth Field in Brooklawn on Sunday. It's 2-2. Yeah, that'll be huge. It'll be tiring, but it'll be huge, you know, just because those teams from North Jersey, Central Jersey, South Jersey, like that might be like my biggest chance to put myself on the map, as, you know, those that have devoutly followed me. I mean, I say that like I'm part of a religious cult, but those that have followed me from the start, you know, they know that I'm willing to go outside of my comfort zone a little bit and put in a little bit of extra oomph into something, you know, even if I'm internally a little tired, you know, a little bit worn down. But the 2-2 is outside. But yeah, that's really exciting. I mean, Friday will probably be the lightest day because it'll be 4 and 7 o'clock, but then Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then Sunday will be from 9 a.m. to 4:30. 3-2. Here's a line shot. Stopped. It went right through Caladros in the left field. So base hit. Trailing off of first base a little bit, but returning. Is the runner for the Terriers. Somebody aboard here with 1 out, and that would be. That one's going to the backstop, and going to second base will be Torres. That throw almost went in the center field, but was stopped by Wiltsey. Man, I shouldn't have worn black pants today. Sun's beating down, not a cloud in sight. Some of the trees starting to get their leaves, especially that pink and red one out there. Made the joke yesterday, or not yesterday, but Friday. Actually, let's hold that thought. Fly ball to right. Going back is BB. He is under it, makes the catch. Torres trailed off a second, but had better thoughts of it and returned. There's 2 down. So bring up Curran. Yeah, I made the joke yesterday that I said DWB does not stand for Dan Wilkins Botany. It stands for Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. I think I said something about flowers or something along that line.
I have no idea either. My mom knew all that stuff.
You do?
My mom.
Oh, your mom.
She knew all the flowers and trees and not me.
Keeps happening. There we go. We'll have to figure that out in between innings, but with 2 outs, runner on second, 10-1 West Springfield. One's upstairs, and it's 2-0. Upstairs, having to duck back a little bit. It's 3-0. Folks, don't forget 3 scrimmages this week for the Green Wave. Tuesday will be, I think all 5 of them are going to be right here at Hank Greenberg Field unless there's a change. There's a strike. It's 3-1. Tuesday versus Lenape, Thursday versus Deptford, and Saturday at 11 a.m. versus Triton. Group 3 school that Audubon has not played since 2019, despite not being far from Audubon. I believe they're in Tri-County, not Colonial, also because they're a larger school. 3-2, the payoff is upstairs. So that vacancy at first base is occupied. Color TV and AC included. Here comes the next Coran brother. That is a motel joke. Yeah. I'll have to drop my business card in the local Super 8 for Howard Johnson. They got a couple of those on a Black Horse Pike as you get to, I believe it's exit 3 on the New Jersey Turnpike. Swing and a miss. You know, the kind of trucker motels. Stuff that I would never think about except for if I'm in another city and I gotta stay in one of those. The swing and a miss. 0-2. A couple half-hearted swings, but they count the same. A lot of fans lining up in lawn chairs and maybe just standing plainly out in left field. A lot of the parents. 0-2. Strike 3. A breaking ball locks up the second Coran brother, and now the inning is over. West Springfield leaves 2 on, but does not play to run. We go to the bottom of the second. We'll go to break. It's 10-1 Audubon. Sorry about that, folks. Ryan Zimmer grounded out to first base, and there's one away. This broadcast is brought to you by DJK Roofing, South Jersey's #1 roofing supplier, with over 200 5-star reviews on the web. Get a free quote today at djkroofing.com. Here's Bryce Dempsey. Rather, that's Jack. I guess they did a brother swap before the game. Although the lineup wasn't exactly true to what we saw in the first inning. They had Scott Lynch slated to play first base, but then Hunter Lowe was there instead until he got switched out for Scott Lynch to pitch. So it's 1-1 to the junior Jack Dempsey. As I said, he is the twin of Bryce. I think Jack is the older one by maybe like 20 minutes, but that's a ball, 2-1. Wow, okay. Called a little high. I mean, it plays in our favor, but I'm not sure if I agree with it. It's 3-1. A good frame by the catcher, Ross Macy. And that is ball 4. I mean, Dempsey also crouches down when he's at the plate a lot, so, you know, your strike zone is relative to your height, and, you know, like, in baseball, the strike zone relatively is at the bottom of the letters of the jersey, you know, because they're typically in a standardized spot unless you go like full Euro baseball, to the top of the knees, and then, you know, it's based off of how far it is off the plate. So the plate would be like, you know, from left to right, and then up and down would be determined by, you know, the height of the player. So like, for example, the tallest player in MLB history, John Rauch. He was a pitcher for the Montreal Expos, Houston Astros, Toronto Blue Jays, something like that. Played for a lot of teams, but he was 6'11". Never played a minute of basketball in his life. Shocking. But as the count is 2-0 to BB, Zach BB. Throw back to first, and Dempsey is safe. But he was 6'11", and for the time that he spent in the National League, I don't think he walked one time because his strike zone was so huge because of the fact that he was so tall. So that one's down. And then you look at the shortest player to play in Major League history, and no, I'm not talking about Eddie Gadel, the guy who wore the jersey number 1/8. he was 3'8", I think it was, and that's ball 4 to Zach Beebe. Eddie Gadel, like 1948, something like that. The St. Louis Cardinals at the time, they needed to get more fans in the ballpark, so they're like, you know what? Why don't we take this guy who's like 3'8", give him the jersey number 1/8, and have a ball with it. He had one at bat in his Major League career, walked on 4 pitches. There's Nick Caladro's first pitch is a swing and a miss on a breaking ball. It's 0-1. But, you know, for like the shortest player to like actually play a full season in the big leagues, Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve, he was 5'5", and he walks a lot because of the fact that he's short. And also, he doesn't stand straight up at the plate. He bends his knees a lot. So that strike zone is even shorter, and he plays that to his advantage. Mound visit here for West Springfield. Jack Dempsey is on second, and on first is Zach Beebe. First pitch to Nick Caladros, or rather the 0-1. Oh, they're going to throw back to first again, a late tag, and he is safe. It is 0-1 to Nick Caladros, 2 runners on and 1 away. We're in the bottom of the second. West Springfield leads by a plenty, and it's 1-1. You know, I think one time somebody called me out when Audubon was leading by 12, and I said they were leading by a baker's dozen. But I'm pretty sure a baker's dozen is 13. There's a line shot into left and foul. Just got past the third baseman for the Terriers and couldn't stick in fair territory. Yeah, I believe a baker's dozen is 13, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a baker, you know. Best thing I could make is a grilled cheese.
We like to eat the baker's rolls.
Yes. I just ate. Don't make me hungry. I want to. Strike 3. Perfect pitch by the lefty, and I'm just being told we got 26 folks watching, so from wherever you are, Audubon all the way up to West Springfield, 3.5 hours away, we welcome you. This broadcast of Audubon Green Wave Baseball. West Springfield showed up in style today as Joey Slavin is at the plate. They showed up in one of those miniature school buses painted in white and blue. As there's a foul ball down the line, we'll show you right here. There's one school bus and one Sprinter van. That's it. That is what the entire team got here on. Now, meanwhile, Enfield got their own, like, tour, like, almost like a tour bus, you know? Like, they got all that, and West Springfield showed up in, like, a 20-year-old school bus and a Sprinter van.
That's awesome, though.
I'm not slighting them for it. I think that's great. I mean, when Audubon traveled to Myrtle Beach last year, they had to spend maybe 12 hours, in a bunch of Sprinter vans going down I-95, but count is 3-1 to Joey Slavin. You know, they were crammed in there. So when I go to Myrtle next year, I'm going to have the luxury of the Ford Escape. We are going to have the luxury of the Ford Escape. We can stop at any Dunkin' Donuts that we want.
The DWB mobile.
Yes. That one is outside. And it's ball 4. Okay.
I was going to say that.
I don't think Joey knew the count, and I don't think anybody knew the count. So now the bases are loaded for that's Trent Bantle.
Ah.
Wouldn't you know? Sophomore, 2-sport athlete. Actually, no, I think 3-sport. I think he does winter track. He does? Yeah. It's down low, 1-0. But I remember last year there was this wager that was made. You know, the friend of mine, Matt Wagner, he's one of the associate commentators for soccer in the fall. Because that one's down low, 2-0 on a fastball. He made a wager saying that, Trent, if you shut out every team for the rest of the season, I'll buy you new goalie gloves. And then he proceeded to shut out the next 6 teams, including Maple Shade in a 1-0 win. And some of them were blowouts, some of them were really close games. And he went through on his deal, and he bought him new goalie gloves. Trent's an amazing guy, amazing goalkeeper, amazing person, just so down to earth. Throw to third is going to be in time, an unusual way to get a force out, but it does the same. Audubon leaves them loaded. They still trail by 9. Going to the third, 10-1 West Springfield in a shellacking on our home turf. We'll be right back after this. Top of the third, West Springfield kicking here versus Scott Lynch. This broadcast is brought to you by Paroli's Printing and Bantles, Banners, and Signs, the true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs with a 5-star Google rating. Over 50 years in business, handling any ink on paper project as well as banners, signs, apparel, promotional swag. Big thanks to Janice Bantle there for the sponsorship. There are 3 packages for sponsorship, by the way. We'll go over them in a minute, as it's 0-1 here to West Springfield. The Salvatore birdie, and that's a strike. It's 0-2. Do it for the green wave in the bottom half will be Gabe McCracken, Tyler Wilsey, and Charlie Thompson. Tapper foul to the screen. It's 0-2 still. Decent turnout for a scrimmage, I gotta say, especially in the fan section, out there. The bleachers were not changed, but I would say their sight lines were, because of the fact that netting is there. You can see so much clearer from the grandstands than you were before, because there was that giant chain link fence in the way that was kind of blocking a lot of your views. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Half-hearted swing going down to first. Couldn't get the words out of my mouth in time, but the throw to first is in time, and there's one away. don't forget, folks, that Audubon will be home for all 3 of their scrimmages. Their first road game will be April 6th versus Haddonfield. There's a good chance, there's a swing and a miss by Ross Macy, that there's a good chance that we will have to tape delay that game because of internet issues in Haddonfield. There's a fly ball towards the school buses and right, and that ball is fouled into Walnut Street. It's 0-2. But good likelihood that we might have to tape delay that game like we did last year. I mean, that game was just such a disaster last year because it was 12-8. Audubon kept giving up runs. They gave up a home run to a guy that had 10 at-bats all season. There's strike 3. Good pitch there by Scott, getting back into it and holding West Springfield accountable now. After scoring 10 runs, they've gone silent in the last couple of innings, as now coming up will be Parker here in the bottom of the order. But yeah, like for the purposes of like just clarity's sake, I was so sick that game that I could barely speak, and in between innings I would literally, there's a foul ball down the first base line, a little bit of a bunt there. It's 0-2, but like I was literally muting my mic so that I could just like huck up a bunch of gross stuff. I know, but yeah, it was not fun. I think I had pharyngitis or something like that.
Yeah, you did.
Which I think is a subsidiary of some sort of.
Subsidiary.
Well, you know what I'm. You know what
It's
I'm saying.
below laryngitis.
Yeah, it's not full-blown laryngitis, but it's still bad. You know.
Anything that keeps you from talking is not good.
Yeah. Not good for my brand. I don't know American Sign Language yet, so I can't broadcast in that way. Strike 3. Sky Lynch takes care of West Springfield in order. 1-2-3. We'll go to the bottom of the third. 10-1. West Springfield still holding Audubon to a 9-run lead. Folks, welcome back. Here in the bottom of the third, Gabe McCracken is leading off for the Green Wave in a 10-1 ball game. Everything has been ice cold since the first. 10 runs for West Springfield in the top half, walk after walk after walk. As first pitch to Gabe McCracken bounces in the dirt, and it's 1-0. Don't forget, folks, for student-led journalism in Audubon High School, make sure you check out The Parrot, which is Audubon's student-led newspaper. Been in business for at least 30-40 years, as that one is inside. 1-1. I'm a proud writer, and so is, we got somebody, Karina Mayer, who is hanging out with us today. She's very interested in broadcast journalism, and I was very happy to take her under my wing and have her watch the game today to, check out what we do and how we run the show. But, everybody there writes incredible stories, incredible opinion pieces, and updates on current events. So check it out at theparrot.apsd.us. There's ball 4. Gabe McCracken takes a free trip to first base, and this will bring up Tyler Wiltsey at the top of the order. 2:03 Eastern Time. Been here for... I've been in this vicinity since 8:45 this morning. I was emceeing the 5K, the Wreck and Roll 5K. Big thanks to Angel Diashiel of the Mansion PTA for having me do that. Luckily, they didn't tell me when they started the race that they were going to be dousing everybody in powdered neon colors, like they do in the color rush of like the I think it's the New York City Marathon or something like that. So I just see these little kids that are like spraying colors everywhere, and I'm like, well, I got a flannel on that I do not feel like going home and changing out of, so I'm gonna like duck out of the way. So that was interesting. Had some great times from some of the best runners in Audubon. I think I will be there for the Veterans Day 5K as well in November. I believe they're having something for Memorial Day as well, but as I get word on that, you'll be the first to hear. Throw back to first, not in time. Threw behind the runner, Ross Micey did, but 2-1 to Tyler Wiltsey, who had a home run in the bottom of the first inning to put the Green Wave on the map. As that one is inside, he's got to duck back a little bit. Down low. McCracken started to break for second, but it was a moot point because the ball was low. So this brings up Charlie Copsetta. They're going to meet with him now. Runners on first and second for the Green Wave here in the bottom of the third. And fans, don't forget, baseball's opening day is April 4th versus the Paulsboro Red Raiders. It's the first time since 2013. Since 2014. I'm getting my years wrong. First time since 2014 that Audubon plays Paulsboro on opening day. They played them again on May the 9th in Paulsboro. But there'll be a string of home games, and then the first road game is in Haddonfield on April 6th. There's 2 games over spring break, one on April 11th versus West Deptford, and then another on April 13th versus the Haddon Heights Garnets. Charlie Copsett at the dish with 2 on, maybe a chance to plate one here and cut that deficit to 8 at the least. Cut to deficit, if he goes yard, 2 would be 6. Ball was upstairs on the first go around, and it's 1-0. That's strike, 1-1. I keep getting thrown off by the freshmen that are hitting in the batting cages, because I keep looking down at like my scorecard or like my lineup, and I hear a crack of the bat, and I'm like, didn't he just take the pitch? And then I realize Colin Filippi's in there, I think, right now, taking some BP. That one's upstairs. Ross Micey had to get out of his crouch, and it is 2-1. is taken in the beautiful Sunday afternoon as Capseta sends a fly ball. I can't see it. It's deep in the right center field, and it's right in front of us. It drops, and it gets kicked by the right fielder. Oh my goodness, that scared me so much. Capseta's going for third. He will hold up there, and 2 will score. It's 10-3. I lost that ball in the sky, and I think my heart sank for a second. I was about to put my hands over the camera and just like pray. But it's a 2-run triple for Charlie Capseta into the right center field gap, kicked by the right fielder, Coran. Okay, good. First pitch to Scott Lynch is a ball. It's 1-0. In the dirt, 2-0. Audubon rallying here. I mean, if Audubon were to come back, it would be a 10-10 game at the latest. But that would be quite interesting. Audubon had one of those chaotic games last year. Here's a fly ball, shallow right, in on the hands, and it's dropping, but it's caught. Capseta will hold, and there's 1 away. Good play out there by Coran, the good read and right, and there is 1 away. Yeah, Audubon, I believe it was April 14th of last year. They beat Collingswood 14-12. Audubon was up 14-2 in the 5th inning, and for high school baseball, I have no idea if this is the same in Massachusetts. I have no idea if this is the same rule in Massachusetts, but if after 5 innings there is a team leading by 10 or more runs, then there is a mercy rule. I'd imagine that's the same way in Massachusetts, but Audubon was up 14-2. There were 3 homers by Sean Driscoll, Isaiah Pinckney, and John Perozzi. Or not Perozzi, excuse me. Massey hit one, I believe. This one's going to go back to third, and Capseta got straight off, and he's going to be called out. Capseta's going to third, but an amazing read by the pitcher for West Springfield to thwart that and really hold the ball until he was far enough away to get a throw back to the bag. So Capseta is out, Grady is safe at first, and that will mean that there are 2 outs now for Ryan Zimmer. Outside. But yeah, Audubon was up 14-2. It looked like they were about to mercy rule Collingswood, and then just error after error, and then bad throws, bad pitching, and a lot of walks. Got a lot of runs. Line drive, center field. That would have been really useful to score Capseta. Charlie Grady's helmet comes flying off. It gets stranded at second base. Grady's going to get off of third and then come back. And Ryan Zimmer with a 2-out double, putting Charlie Grady at third, and Springfield's second baseman doesn't know where the helmet goes. He picked up the helmet. He didn't know whether to give it to Zimmer. He didn't know where it went, but now runners will stand in scoring position here with 2 down.
Nobody scored on that one, right?
No, it would have been really useful, though, if Charlie Capseta did not get thrown out. Yeah, that would have been very useful. As now Zimmer with 2 away will go back to the dugout. J.J. Stockland will run at second in his place. Yeah, I should clarify something from what I said in the first inning. In high school baseball, that one's down low to Jack Dempsey. In high school baseball, usually replacement runners are for catchers because it takes so long for them to get the equipment on that it's better for them just to get a head start. But that one is inside, went behind Dempsey. And it's 2-0. Did I just? Okay, no, it missed me again. I just felt something. I felt something hit me. That was weird, but 2-0.
Birds are out to get you.
Yeah, the birds are really, and I can't even see them. That's the funny thing. Here's a fly ball out to right, playable, and caught. Inning over. I'll have to re-clarify that again when we come back. We go to the top of the 4th. 10-4. By 6. There we go. Charlie Grady on top of the 4th. There's the trivia time question. On the current Toronto Blue Jays roster, how many players are sons of MLB All-Stars? Is it 3, 1, 4, or 5? It'll be revealed in the bottom of the 4th inning. We'll head back to the main board now. And that's where we stand with a ball that is 1-0 to West Springfield. Owen Hall at the plate, and it is outside 2-0. It's actually freezing the camera. I feel like the cord might be a little loose.
Something's a little loose somewhere.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We got 3 more scrimmages to nix that. 2-2. Swinging a liner to right, and that ball is down. Beebe will get there, and Hall will trail into second. Standing up with a leadoff double, and here comes West Springfield again. Small sample size last year, mostly because he was in the field, but getting some good experience as a relief pitcher here in 2023. His last ride with Audubon, 23 senior, 3 main seniors on these ball clubs, Scott, Charlie, and Zach Beebe, as that one goes back to the screen. Oh, you know what? That must have been a wild pitch, because Hall moved over to third, and I don't think that Dwyer made contact with the baseball, so they're going to put him at third now as he moves up on what is technically a passed ball. That's a bit interesting. That one's upstairs. Should be 1-1. Scoreboard isn't updated yet, but 1-1. High and tight, 2-1. side. And Dwyer will take a free trip down to first base. So runners will be occupied at the corners now for Michael Mahan. This broadcast is brought to you by Paroli's Printing and Bantle's Banners and Signs, the true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs. With a 5-star Google rating, if you need graduation, lawn signs and banners, flyers, A-frames, business cards, or envelopes done right, this is the place for you. And again, if you want to be a part of that spoken word blurb and be a sponsor of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, make sure to send me an email at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. Get 3 packages available. Whoa! Look out! Look out! Mahan got hit. He tried to pull back on a bunt, and that's the risk you take when you bunt. That's just an inherent risk right there, and so he will reach base, I believe, all 3 times he's reached base today, but now brings up Torres. And with the bases loaded, here's a fly ball, shallow left, and it falls in front of Stockland. Everybody will move up 90 feet, and West Springfield has their first run since the first. It's 11-4. You know, every Audubon game that has been played this year, with the exception of the winter inter-squad, the player-led inter-squad with Team Zimmer and Team Lynch, has had one team score 10 runs or more. Because the green and gold inter squad was 10-7, the Enfield game was 12-6, and this game is 11-4, except in the other direction. Fly ball foul, headed towards the batting cages, and headed towards somebody's backyard down Hampshire. It's 1-1. I'd have to imagine those folks that live close to the baseball field, they gotta have some darn good insurance. Gotta have like bulletproof windows. There's a ground ball, and it goes right through the 5-hole of Lynch. He stops it, gets the out, and the run will from third comes home to score. So now runners will be on second and third, and it's 12-4 Springfield. This brings up Colby Harrington. Down low. Sun is beaten down. You wouldn't think it's 60 degrees, but with a flannel shirt and sweatpants, doesn't feel like it's 60. It feels like it's 80. It's 1-1.
Not in the shade.
You are.
Yeah, in the shade it's cooler.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah, your hand is cold, yeah. I can tell, yeah. No, don't need to rub it in. Here's a ground ball. On a bunt back to Charlie. The throw at first is in time. But the run will score, so Springfield hacking away at the runs that they gave up in the third, and it is now 13-4. You know, there was a game where Audubon lost in a similar fashion like this last year. 13-4. Audubon played at 3 in the bottom of the third, but the last scrimmage of 2022, which I did not attend because I only got to broadcast 2 of the scrimmages because I blew out my knee on March 28th, and Cedar Creek was the last one. It was on the road in Cedar Creek, and Audubon lost 19-6. But I was talking about the caveats where, with pinch runners, and by the way, the count is 2-0. But, you know, I was talking about how in Major League Baseball, if player A replaces player B on the bases, then player A is out for the rest of the game. But, like, let's say in Ryan Zimmer's case, if he hits a double and then player B subs in for him, then Zimmer can come back in the game, but player B is mostly designated as a pinch runner. You know, like that's what Damian Broadhurst was last year. He was second in the Colonial Conference in stolen bases. He had 19, but he never picked up a bat. Fly ball, left field line, Wiltsey is there, and the side is retired. West Springfield gets 3 more on the board. We go to the bottom of the 4th, and it is 13-4. Terriers over the Green Wave.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, should be good.
All right.
Thank you.
Of course. We're back from the bottom of the 4th here on DWB. It's time for trivia time. On the Toronto Blue Jays roster, how many players are the sons of MLB All-Stars? Ms. Wilkins, will you reveal the answer? Yeah, you gotta click that and then the one above it. There we go. The answer is 3. 3 Toronto Blue Jays players are the sons of MLB All-Stars. We can go back to the main board here as first pitch is a strike to Zach Beebe. It's 0-1. Yeah, I believe those 3 players would be Bo Bichette, who is the son of Dante Bichette, who played for the Rockies for a while. Then there's also Cavan Biggio, the son of Craig Biggio, one of the greatest Houston Astros of the 20th century. And then also there's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who, guess what, is the son of Vladimir Guerrero, one of the greatest Montreal Expos. So that really came to form in the last couple of years, though, as it is 2-1 to Zach Beebe. Yeah, if you were a more casual baseball fan who didn't know that Dante Bichette, Craig Biggio, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. all have sons playing in Major League Baseball, I sincerely apologize, because I feel like I just made somebody age 20 years. But I don't know.
You do that to me every day.
3-1 to Zach Beebe. Line shot to right, and it will drop for a base hit in between second and right. And Beebe places it perfectly to get aboard to start the inning. That's what Beebe does best. He walks and gets singles. I mean, I think he had like 1 extra base hit last year, but he didn't need that. You know, it didn't care that his batting average was low. He just hit the ball when he needed to, and he walked. I think he had like 15 walks or something like that. You know, he was one of the better players when it came to getting on base via walking and hit by pitches than really anybody else on the team. And he didn't need to have a star power bat to do that. Here's Nick Caladros, the Greek freak, as they call him. It's like Giannis Antetokounmpo in the NBA. Yeah, I was told by Gavin Van Rel during the during the Green versus Gold Inter squad that we have all been spelling Nick Caladros' name wrong. Everybody spells Nick like N-I-C-K, like Nicholas, but it's actually N-I-K. It's pronounced the same way, but I guess in a Greek way it's spelled differently. It's just N-I-K, and then Kalodros is K-A-L-O-G-I-R-O-S. It's a lot easier to spell than, like I said, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So. Oh, 2-1 to Nick Kalodros. A lot of folks taking in a Sunday jog and a Sunday cruise on the track out in center field. That one is a strike, throwing behind the runner and not in time. Some folks playing one-on-one football, having a catch, having a grand old time. And I love the fact that there's a lot of parents here that are still taking the time to watch the game, because one of my biggest fears, just swinging this, going to second is BB, and it's not going to matter because he's going to get the first on a walk. So now here is Joey Slavin. But one of my biggest fears when I really got into this broadcasting gig for Audubon, I was afraid that less people were going to go to the games and more people were just going to sit at home on their TVs, you know, lackadaisically watching my stream. And I'm like, well, I don't want that to happen, you know. I want people to still enjoy a ball game without my grating voice in their ears or on their TVs, you know, for 3 hours straight. You know, I still want people to attend the ball game for what it's worth. Because sometimes a real quiet ball game is the best thing that you can have. You're just watching America's pastime at its best quality. And you don't need a TV to watch it, you know? I mostly provide a service for those that cannot watch the game. People at work, people that, you know, don't live right around town. And also for the players' families who, you know, may have a different reason why they can't go. Or for the players themselves who want to, you know, play back the footage when it's over, to look at what they did and look at the footage of their swings or their pitches, you know, to take a look at how they can improve or how they can adjust their motions. As that one's in the third. BB's moving the third. He is the only runner. One away and a 2-1 count to Joey Slavin. Audubon looking to get a run back. By the way, they took away a run. I think that the scorekeeper thought that Charlie Copsetta had scored, but he did not. So the score is 13-3, which is what I thought all along. The math didn't add up. And there's ball 4.
Yeah, because when you told me it was 4, I was like,
we both were a little confused, but yeah, they did take a run away from Audubon in hindsight, in retrospect, and it's 13-3, and runners now stand on the corners for Trent Bantle. First pitch to Trent Bantle is down low a little bit, but called a strike. Curveball misses downstairs, and it's 1-1. Trent Bantle didn't really have a lot of varsity opportunities last year, only had 3 at-bats. Most of them were down in Myrtle Beach for spring break. Audubon went 3-2 in their ventures in Myrtle Beach last year. They played 5 games versus schools from South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia. I think they played a school from New York that was also down there. I can't remember the names off the top of my head. I know there was High Point Christian, which Audubon is technically 0-2 versus because they played them back in 2012, 10 years ago. And then they played them again last year in Myrtle Beach. Hopefully I'll be able to go down there again for my senior year. My last ride with Audubon, at least for a full season. And the 2-2 to Trent Bantle. Is a strike. And he is retired. Breaking ball in the outside corner, called as such, and here is Gabe McCracken. 2 runners on for the Wave. Runners on the corners. Slavin on first, Zach Beebe on third. Caladros was retired via a strikeout. He ran down the first, and I thought he was safe, but I had missed the point where they threw him out. I was like confused. Strike one. It's like either a sinker ball or a fastball. Not bad, to say the least. Audubon doesn't score here, they'll still be down by 10 going to the top of the fifth, which I don't think they're going to mercy rule because of the fact that just because it's a scrimmage and they don't really care about the score. But it would be nice if Audubon could get within 10, you know, even if this is a losing effort for the Green Wave, which it seemed like it was from the first pitch. I mean, the first pitch was a hit by pitch to Owen Hall, and it just went straight down from there. And there's been a couple peaks and valleys, but none have really reached the top of where we started. And there's strike three. McCracken watches one go by like a TV show. We go to the top of the fifth. West Springfield lets Audubon abandon two on the base paths, and we go to the top of the fifth. 13-3. Terriers over the Green Wave. Top of the fifth, and West Springfield still holds their lead to 10. Let's take a quick interruption here to take a look at my beautiful phone screen. No, that is our new Venmo, DW Broadcasting, if you want to help out on the expenses that come with doing 57 high school games from March to May. You know, $10, $20, anything in between or anything higher or lower, anything will be greatly appreciated in helping with our expenses. And DWB is not a free operation, I'll tell you that. It costs a lot of money. It does cost a lot of money to operate this, and to keep everything up as Coran steps out. But yeah, it's not easy, I'll tell you that. It's not easy. I mean, like, there's some.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, yes, and it's, you know, it's fueling the fire of a great passion that I have. That one is downstairs. Charlie Grady's still out on the mound for the Green Wave, but you know, like, if I was still interested in playing baseball, I would probably still play for the Green Wave. I probably wouldn't even care that I was on JV. I probably wouldn't even make JV. I'm just not a good baseball player. And what else to do if you love the game of baseball but you're not good at it? Then talk about it, you know? Like, the highest level of baseball I played was juniors ball in like 8th grade. Ground ball to third. Throw across in time. Easy play 5-3, and there's one away. There's the second Coran brother. First pitch high and away. Do we have a new catcher in the ballgame? I believe we do. That is Trent Bantle behind the plate. This man can do it all. I thought it was Dylan Pooley back there, but Pooley's more of a heftier build. I mean, he's strong. He's strong, but Trent Bantle is, like, you know, skinny and lanky. say that in the least offensive way possible, but, you know. There's a strike called a little low there on Coran, but it is 3-1. Here's a fly ball, hit out to right. Beebe couldn't get there, fell right in front of him. And a base hit here. So we'll bring up Salvatore Berti. 13-3, West Springfield leads over Audubon. Yeah, Audubon lost their last scrimmage of the year to Cedar Creek, 19-6. They were 2-2 in scrimmages, losing to Kingsway in their first go-around, which, keep in mind, Kingsway is a Group 4 school, and if you look at my South Jersey preseason baseball rankings, I ranked them #1, and Audubon left the bases loaded in the top of the 7th inning to lose 3-2. They beat Enfield, Connecticut, and they beat Paul Sixth, which I was not in attendance for, but because I could barely walk, let alone handle a camera and stand for 2.5 hours to swing and miss. Got him to go, and that's the second out. Runner on first for the Terriers, and that brings up Ross. In the dirt, and now going to second. Get in there. Ball. Mantle had to get out of his crouch. Swing and miss. Got him to go a little bit early. It's 2-1. Yeah, we were talking about earlier in the ball game the 3 Toronto Blue Jays players who are sons of MLB All-Stars, and the 2-2 is outside 3-2. But we were talking about that, and you know, I was thinking later, I was like, well, all 3 of those guys were prevalent during the steroid era, but all 3 of them were clean because, you know, the steroid era, for the swing and miss. We'll talk about that in the bottom of the half, but you know, the steroid era was a pretty scandalous time in baseball, as this is a pretty scandalous game, 13-3. Oh boy, going to the bottom of the 5th. We'll be right back after this. Somebody's got to turn off the music.
There they go.
We're back. Top of the 5th. Somebody forgot to turn off Hey Ya.
They wanted to see him shake their bat.
Oh, come on. That was bad. That was bad. I want to know to Tyler Welty.
Got mom jokes here. Come on.
I've probably made worse jokes, yeah. Tyler Welty at the plate. The umpire had the signal, like, you know, cut it out to the dugout. They forgot to turn off the music. I've done that several times in my Little League days when I was doing the music. I was like down at the snack stand and I would have the music running and then the catcher would finish up his job like before I came back with like a hot dog and chicken fingers. So like the umpire was yelling up to the booth, you know, turn off the music, and there was nobody up there.
Well, we had priorities back then. We had the snack stand to go to.
Yes, line drive and a left base hit. Wiltie's gonna round first and pump the brakes.
Wish they had a snack stand here.
I wish they did, but I don't really think that there's the resources for it.
Oh, no.
Like,
No way.
yeah, like the Little League is more pre-built for that. You know, like that snack stand has been around.
There's literally like 8 teams with parents. Here's one team.
Yeah. Like the Little League fields just get so much more use than this field does. You know, it maybe gets used for like 30 games in a year if you consider the juniors team, but you know, that's really about it. Wiltie's on first base. Charlie Copsetta is at the plate and he fouls it back to the screen. And it is 0-1. And this season is not going to be like the last. Audubon, after coming back from Myrtle Beach, they beat West Deptford in probably one of the most excruciating games I've ever been a part of. 3 hours and 37 minutes of a ball game. About to call the game too. They were probably about 10 to 15 minutes shy of calling the game and making it a tie. As now Wiltie will go down to second base, but it was 4-3. Nobody scored for like the last 5 innings, and then Isaiah Pinckney said hello and goodbye. And then Audubon didn't lose again until they lost the playoffs. They had 16 straight wins, which is I believe a program record, but it's the longest win streak I have on record going back to 2008. That one's upstairs, and Charlie Copsetta will have the count in his favor, 3-1. Our athletic director, Tony Carbone, taking in the game from his club card. It's upstairs. Charlie Copsetta will take a free trip down to first base and remove about half a pound of equipment. Shin guards, elbow guards, all come flying off. Like a shedding snake. It's going to be a pitching change here for West Springfield. As though these guys don't have jerseys, another man in a blue shirt and white hat will pitch. Does that narrow it down? I don't think that narrows it down.
Well, we know he's from Massachusetts.
Yes, that is true. We'll be right back after this. West Springfield leads 13-3. bottom of the fifth, pitching change for West Springfield. 2 runners are aboard for Audubon. Tyler Wiltsey at second, Charlie Copsetta at first, and Scott Lynch is at the plate looking to cut into this deficit, which is currently 10 runs with nobody out. And the first pitch will be coming down to Scott Lynch momentarily. Wind is coming in pretty heavily. It could very well be worse. The Houston Astros today just beat the St. Louis Cardinals 24-1. It could very well be worse. Although that doesn't really compare to the worst blowout that's been in my lifetime. Was Texas Rangers beat the Baltimore Orioles on August 30th, 2007, 30-3. Yeah, that's... And the crazy thing about that game, as it is outside, 2-1, the amazing thing about that game was that Baltimore was leading 3-0 in the 4th inning. So all of Texas's 30 runs came in innings 4 through 9. So the first 3 innings didn't even, they didn't even score. Here's a line shot in the right. The hat comes flying off, and it goes over the head of Karan and right. A run will probably score for the Green Wave, as Tyler Wiltsey is going to have to beat a throw. It is cut off and not in time. Audubon cuts that lead down by 1 run. As the right fielder slams his glove down in disappointment. Not happy with himself after that play, and it's 13-4. Runners will stand on first and third. That's technically an RBI single for Scott. He did not advance on the play. And now will be number 22, first base for the Green Wave. Here is Charlie Grady with a runner in scoring position and a runner that's 90 feet from getting in scoring position in a 13-4 ball game. Audubon looking to cut the deficit a little bit, as they already have, as a check swing is called a ball. 1-0. Good frame by the catcher Ross, but it's 2-0. Yeah, but that game 30-3, man. There's been some bad ones like in recent years. I know Miami beat Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves beat the Miami Marlins 29-9 in 2020. I want to say, right in the last week of the season. As now number 22 is going down to second base, and he's in there. So now both runners are in scoring position. And it's 3-0 to Charlie Grady, rather. But yeah, it is quite interesting, how baseball kind of works in the fact that while there is a pitch clock, there's no game clock, as there is a spread to Charlie. The only clock that exists in high school baseball is the natural one, and that is the one that is above us in the sky, in the sun. That's the only thing that dictates how long a game can last. Unless the umpire's got dinner reservations at Outback.
We have no lights here.
No lights, no. A couple fields in the Colonial Conference do have lights. I believe Collingswood does, with them being in Knight Park, in that little triangle park right in front of the high school. Here's a ground ball. Hit softly out to second. Throw to first is in time, and a run scores. It is Wiltsey. And now it is 13-5. So runners will stand on third. That's number 22. That's really all there is left. But here's Ryan Zimmer. 1 out. In the bottom of the fifth. Audubon now trailing by 8, and a breaking ball, smooth as butter. It's 0-1. Here's a fly ball down the right field line, pushed by Zimmer, and it is foul. Foul by just a couple feet, but he had already stopped running by the time he got out of the box, if that ball stayed fair, that would have been a dangerous spot there, or an ill-advised spot. Upstairs. Grounder. That one is foul. Zimmer should have run that out. Because if that ball stays fair, then he's going to look like a real fool. He gets run up hopefully hit a ball back to the pitcher. Or he hit one down the line and he just didn't run it out. And now keep in mind, he is a pitcher. As there is 2 down. Brings up Jack Dempsey. But, you know, keep in mind he is a pitcher who can, you know, put in a little less effort without being chastised for it. But it happened in a game in Cincinnati, I want to say in like 2011, and even the crowd there booed him for not running it out. And he's on the other team. They booed him for not running it out, and he's on the visitor side. There's a strike. But baseball culture is a lot about effort, you know? Like, one of my biggest critiques about the NBA right now is it's not a lot of defense, you know? If you try to defend, you get fouled. So everybody hits uncontested threes, you know, or slam dunks, and there's really not a lot of mid-range talent anymore, or talent in the paint that's not throwing the ball through the rim. The 0-2 is a line drive into center field. That will plate another run. Jack Dempsey with an RBI single, and it's 13-6. Keeping it moving. And it is now a 7-run deficit. Better than before, that's for sure. And here is Zach Beebe. So Dempsey is the only runner that stands right now. He's on first. 2 away, bottom of the 5th. Audubon trails by 7, 13-6. First pitch. Strike 1. Swing and a miss. Beebe chased the ball in the dirt. Didn't get it. 0-2. This will be the 20th pitch for West Springfield's reliever, and that one is strike 3. So Audubon gets 3 home, so a valiant effort. But we are not done yet. We go to the top of the 6th. 13-6, West Springfield. Top of the 6th inning. It is 13-6. Audubon trailing by 7. As Nick Caladros is the new pitcher. He's, I believe, facing Owen Hall. I don't know, it's hard to tell without the jerseys. It's really hard to tell. I believe this is Owen Hall. Birds are chirping here on this Sunday afternoon. Beautiful sounds. Swing and a foul. 2-1. It's just nice and relaxing to watch a baseball game and not have to worry about rain or snow or 30-mile-per-hour winds that are going to fly me away like Mary Poppins.
Watch out for them birds.
Yeah. I'm 0 for 1 today. The ground ball first base side. Lynch has it, and he dropped it. Flips it to Caladros. Quick thinking there by 17, and that's the first out. Forgot to say that Caladros is the new pitcher, but that is a pitching change presented by Paroli's Printing. And now here is Nick Dwyer. Outside. 1-0. You have to imagine if this game was played yesterday, I'm sure the seniors would be a lot more relaxed. But right now, like what time is it right now?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. In 12 hours, they have to wake up and get on a plane, get their luggage, and fly down to Disney.
Might be excited.
I mean, yeah, they're excited, but they're not going to get a lot of sleep.
That's the whole part of senior trip.
It's part of the experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you went to Disney for your senior trip.
Sleep on the plane.
Everybody goes to Disney for their senior trip.
Yep.
I wish there would be like, you know, because that's like the key senior trip, but like, personally, I don't find Disney World like that entertaining. I've been there 5 times, you know, I've seen everything that I want to see. I've seen the 30-year-old theater majors that dress up as Mickey Mouse, you know. Swing us.
What if they went to Universal for a change?
That would be nice. I think that Audubon goes to Universal for 1 day,
Oh, okay.
and then they go to Disney World for like the rest of the week.
I've never been to Disney, which is weird 'cause I'm from Florida.
I've been to Disney 5 times, I want to say. So it's a foul ball, first base line by Mahan. And then I've been to Disneyland once in California. I went there this summer. It was fine.
That was part of the deal. You got 5 baseball teams out of it, and I got my day at Disneyland.
And SeaWorld, although SeaWorld was disappointing.
Yes, very disappointing.
Line shot. Dempsey picks it up on a hop, throw to first. We'll talk about Mickey Mouse later, or we probably shouldn't because I don't feel like talking about him. But we go to the bottom of the 6th. 13-6. I almost said West Deptford again. Darn. Springfield on top by 7. Jeez. Bottom of the 6th, California Girls by Katy Perry fading out in the background. That's got to be Hunter Lowe's idea. He came up with that one. He wanted that to be the team song. Which I can't blame him. It's a groovy tune. But here is, let's zoom in a little. That is Nicoladros, the pitcher. He's going to bat here at the bottom of the 6th. Audubon trailing 13-6. What?
I skipped an inning.
Oh.
Bottom of the 6th.
There we go. That one is high, ball 1.
I was trying to get it moving along because I'm cold.
Yeah. You're trying to end the game quicker. See, the funny thing is I'm hot because I'm in dark pants.
And you're in the sun.
And I'm in the sun. Who needs a tanning bed? I can just do this all day, you know?
But the equipment has to stay in the shade.
Yeah, we got the umbrella up and stuff like that. So it ends up working out. Ground ball back up the middle on a base hit. Goes through into center. This will bring up Joey Slavin. Phillies opening day coming up soon. Today's the 26th, right? So opening day for the Phillies is March 30th versus the Texas Rangers. It'll be Aaron Nola versus Jacob deGrom, brand new pitcher for the Texas Rangers. Was a perennial Cy Young candidate for the New York Mets, year in and year out, and then signed a 5-year mega contract with Texas. Joey Slavin takes the first pitch outside. It's 1-0. Breaking ball, strike, 1-1. See, that's what I like about high school baseball. There's always an emphasis on keeping the ball moving. That one's inside, or rather, went back to the first base. Couldn't speak there. Threw over to first base, but there was nothing going on there. Here is the 1-1. Right? Yeah, 1-1. Inside. Goes in the dirt. 2-2. A 2-1. Jeez.
Sun's frying you.
Yeah, it's frying my brain. Can't speak. I'm talking about Mickey Mouse or something delirious. 3-1. But this is the greatest sport. Like, if I wasn't a baseball fan, I wouldn't fit in really in any other sport. Because just the fact that baseball is a slow-moving sport, that's the charm of it all. Is that you can tell stories, that you can tell jokes and, you know, have a laugh. That one's onto the batting cages. It is 3-2, excuse me.
I love listening to Larry Anderson for the Phillies.
Right, on the radio.
He has such great stories when he's calling a game.
Right.
They're really not even listening for the call of the game, listening for his stories.
Yeah. Ball 4, Joey Slavin. This would put number 22 and number 21. First and second. Retro, respectively. It's going to solicit a mound visit from Coach Garrett here for West Springfield, and we'll have a pitching change. So, yes, there will be a pitching change. I wasn't sure because I saw a whole bunch of people get together and then break off, and people went back to the dugout. So we'll be right back after this. 2 runners aboard for Audubon. It is 13-6, Springfield Terriers. Bottom of the sixth, pitching change for West Springfield. They have their third arm of the evening as I just saw a huge shadow, and it was a Alaska Airlines flight going overhead, headed over to PHL. Showing bunt is Trent Bannell, and it's foul. 0-1. Yeah, I said before on Friday that was my nerdy distraction when I played outfield in Little League. Instead of picking grass like most people did, I looked at the airplanes up in the sky, and I looked to see what airline they were. I would always be looking at their tail, the tail fin of the plane. I would look at I was really good at the logos, like Alaska Airlines, American Air. I would always get American and Delta mixed up. It's one of
Coach would yell, "Pay attention!"
Maybe only a couple times. Because by the time the pitch was ready to come, I was usually like back in it. But I wasn't that good of a fielder. I played second base one time. That was no fun. It's a lefty playing second base, and also a guy who doesn't have good reaction time. That was not good. It's outside, 2-1.
Well, it's a really good thing you took a liking to announcing.
Yes, because as I said before, this is my way of still enjoying the game without having to wake up at 6 a.m. for practices every day. That's ball 4. Bases are loaded with one away, or nobody out actually. I believe so. Yeah, nobody's out. So this brings up Gabe McCracken.
Release the Krakens.
Yes, actually, that was their old nickname. We used to call them that. Release the Kraken.
Yeah, release the Krakens.
Yes. No, they don't live too far from here.
No. Great athletes for Audubon too.
Oh yeah, all three of them. All three of them.
All three of them.
Because don't forget Jaden too. Yeah.
Yeah, she's good at it.
She does shot put.
Oh, she does. Oh, she does. I didn't know that. Yeah, I know she's cheerleader.
She does shot put and I think some sort of track stuff. I honestly forget. Shot put and discus. Ground ball back towards the middle, and it will be. There's one. And got 2. McCracken was surprised that he was out, and the run does score. It's 13-7, but that threat has now basically been cleared, as now Tyler Wilson will be up with a runner on third. But that double play was huge for West Springfield, because that was really important there that they got that out. What is the ball? 1-0 to Tyler Wilson. Hit a home run in the bottom of the first, kick-started the offense for the Green Wave. They scored 1 in the first, 2 in the third, and 3 in the fifth. They've all been scoring in odd-numbered innings, except for this one, because they did score 1 in the sixth. But West Springfield's story has been a lot different. 10 in the first, and then 3 in the fourth. That's really all she's written since then. I mean, we kind of saw that in the Enfield game. You know, Audubon scored in almost every inning. I think they did score in every inning.
Yeah.
And then Enfield would always be clawing back, scoring like 2 runs here, 2 runs there. They'd score in bunches. As Wiltsey will come back up the bat here, runner on third, 2-0 count. Outside. 3-0. Honestly, the best case scenario here would be for them to walk him, because he's already gotten a double, a homer. Wouldn't be too hard for him to cut their deficit even more on this 3-0, but that one is down low. Honestly, that's kind of smart, you know? Like, you don't want to walk anybody, but that second base is open, so, you know, if Copsetta hits a ground ball and it's fielded by either the second baseman or the shortstop, you just throw it over the second, and that's a force out. It would be more complicated if Wiltsey had gotten aboard on, like, second base, you know, because you can't really, there's no force outs there. Here's Charlie Copsetta. for the third time today. Strike one inside. Time called by Charlie. He's been going on for a little while, 2 hours and 21 minutes here today. And the first scrimmage was called after about 6 innings. Wiltsey will go to second on a ball in the dirt, so he gets there. So now both runners in scoring position as Wiltsey advances his position. Fly ball popped up behind the plate, and well, I think that audible sound will tell you where that ball landed. In the grandstands. You don't see a lot of those that land in the grandstands because you have to hit it at the perfect angle to get over that net and to get into the grandstands. Because a lot of times it just clears the grandstand and goes depending on what side of the plate you're on. Swing and a miss. That will retire the side, and West Springfield allows a run, but that's all. We go to the top of the 7th, 13-7, West Springfield. Well, Zach Beebe said it best. It's just a scrimmage. I don't know who exactly he was saying that to, but it's good words of wisdom. You win, you lose, no matter what happens, this game will not go in the record books. Certainly won't go down in the record books as a pleasure for Audubon, but it is what it is. He's outside, goes to the backstop. I mean, the best thing that you can learn from the scrimmage is that looking back at the tape, looking back at what you did wrong, looking back at the box score, is improving on your faults. Like Joey Slavin did not have a great outing, being pulled after 2/3 of an inning after giving up 6 runs, and West Springfield scored 10 at the top of the first. But they improved going forward. If this were a playoff game, you don't want to give up 10 runs in the first. Line drive to center. That one goes over the head of Copsetta. It'll go to the wall. It'll bounce off towards the middle of the wall, and Torres is going to have himself a double. Baseball's just sitting there in the middle of the infield. Time is called, so they're going to have a replacement runner probably. He just had to give the first base coach his elbow guard, his shin guard, all that jazz. listening to outfield chatter is so interesting. Because these guys are like several hundred feet away and they're just having a casual like conversation, like they're going for coffee or something. It's one of them. Owns the ball 2-0. Yeah, like BB and Copsetta are just having a conversation right now in the middle of the game. That's the best thing. There's ground ball back to Caladros. He pump fakes, throws it first, and it's in time. Runner holds it second for the Terriers. Away.
Great commentary in the field.
Yes, he was giving me comments.
Yep.
I don't think Copsetta is not as vocal. He's a quieter guy. I mean, so is Zach. You know, you have to talk to them before they talk to you. First pitch foul back to the screen. I mean, I think the only guy in the outfield that would probably like start a conversation with me in between an inning would be Stockton. But that's because he knows me more.
Right.
He knows me better than Copsetta and BB do.
Depends on the atmosphere of the game too. If they're down, they're not going to be talking.
At least not a lot. Xavier really didn't care what the score was, you know. I'm not saying he didn't care, but like he was kind of indifferent to it, you know.
Yeah, he was just on all the time.
Yeah, he always had a good mood, even if his team was down. You know, because you got to keep high spirits, because what's going to happen to the score if you're in bad spirits? The score's going to be worse. Audubon trailing by 6 here at the top of the 7th. One out, and a runner on second for the West Springfield Terriers. Strike 2, 1 and 2. Again, 3 scrimmages coming up for the Green Wave before their opening day match versus Paulsboro on April 4th. There's a ground ball back to the mound on an excuse me swing, and Torres goes to third. And Lenape on Tuesday, Deptford on Thursday, and Triton on Saturday. And then opening day versus Paulsboro on April 4th. 2 outs. And there's the first pitch. Called strike. Ball back to the second rather. Throw to first by Dempsey is in time. West Springfield strands 2, and we go to just one runner. But we go to the bottom of the 7th. Last chance for Audubon, down by 6. Can they rally? We will see. It's 13-7. Terriers. 7th Green Wave, down by 6, but we've been here before in a situation where they've been down and have come back, although I will say that it matters less today than it has in previous instances. But West Springfield with an arm out there to try to secure the last 3 outs, to try to send Audubon to be 1-1 in these first 2 scrimmages of the year. It's the first time that Audubon has had 5 scrimmages in a year since 2016. Because back in 2021, they only had 1 scrimmage, which was versus Clearview. The season started on April 19th due to COVID-19, and in 2022, Audubon had 4. 2019, Audubon had 2, including one versus Central Bucks South of Pennsylvania, in which CBS took the victory. Here's Scott Lynch, leading off the bottom of the 7th, and he's going to take a fastball upstairs if it's 1-0.
Still a good showing that Audubon came back from 13-0 to, you know.
Yeah, from down 10-0 to make it a 7-run game, or a 6-run game rather, is a valiant effort. You know, they did not hang their heads low.
Exactly.
They scored 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 5th, and they scored in almost every inning. You know, even if this is a losing effort, I would say that this marks the team chemistry that these guys have. You know, Gavin Van Rel and I were talking on the broadcast earlier during the green and gold game. That one is 2-1. You know, we were talking about the fact that he says that Audubon baseball, they say a lot of the times for several different teams that, you know, oh, we're like family, we're like family. Well, he says that Audubon baseball is family. You know, these guys know each other like the back of their hands, especially that sophomore class of 2025, like Stocklin, the McCracken brothers, Trent Bantle. Those guys are more tightly bonded than Super Bowl. Like, they just absolutely just know and love each other to no end. Outside, and Scott Lynch will run this count full. In the words of Dominic Perry, it's full cow. I still won't let him live it down for that. He told me during the first winter inter squad, he's like, you know, when I was younger, I used to think that a full count was full cow. Fly ball, got under it, and it's out of play. Just in front of a school bus. It's 3-2. And I was like, well, if it's full cow, then there's a lot of grass for it to choose from out here. Foul back. To Scott Lynch. Ground ball, foul. Lynch staying alive. This is going to be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Or rather, the 8th pitch, excuse me. Still a strenuous at-bat to say the least, but nothing ever compares to that long at-bat. And hold up now. Plate umpire's talking to the head coach for West Springfield. I'm not sure what's going on here. Player just left the dugout with his glove and is now running behind home plate. I don't know what happened there, but maybe they needed somebody to warm up a pitcher for. Yeah, because there's a pitcher standing in the bullpen right now, and yeah, I guess they needed somebody to throw to. That was weird. I don't know. Although, no, now the player's back in the field of play, and
oh, they needed a helmet.
Oh, they needed to switch out the helmet. Okay. So a bit of an equipment malfunction here. And Scott Lynch's at bat will be delayed a little further, so same catcher, just a different headgear. I think there was one time during a wrestling match where Aiden McGuckin, it was one of those kids in the mid-range for weight classes, 3-2. Down low, ball 4. So Scott Lynch will take a free trip down the first. But one of the kids, his headgear broke, and it was like a 3-minute delay, and all the people from the other side of the stands were like booing and jeering and stuff like that. And I was like, well, it's an equipment malfunction. Are you gonna like boo the headgear? Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it, you know? Charlie Grady at the dish, Scott Lynch at first base, and the first pitch is in the dirt. Scott's going to break. The ball had a good ricochet for Scott off of the carom of the backstop. And it'll be 1-0. Yeah, Scott Lynch now at second base for the Green Wave. I'm sorry, it's not Scott, excuse me. It's his master of disguise, number 22. It's his protege, his apprentice. The man who runs in place of Scott Lynch, who won't turn his back to right field. 1-1, Charlie Grady. Audubon's dugout chirping as always, and that's upstairs.
Actually, they've been pretty quiet today.
2-1. Yeah, they've been less vocal than usual. I think those seniors from years past were better suited for like being role models for the team and like, you know, pumping them up. I think they were better hype men, you know.
Yeah, last year they were pretty vocal.
Yeah, 3-1. I think I made a joke last year that they sounded like the seagulls in Finding Nemo. Mine. Yeah. Oh, that's a funny one. 3-1 to Charlie Grady. Number 22 on second base for the Green Wave, and there's a ground ball that will go foul. Over towards the L screens and the tractor. It's 3-2. Count, Charlie Grady, same thing that Scott Lynch had. We'll see if the result is the same. And it is not. Swing and a miss. Charlie Grady strikes out. There's one away. This will now bring up Ryan Zimmer. First pitch to Zimmer. Ground ball into the dugout. And look out, Hunter. Wonder who got the baseball. Looks like maybe Theo Caladros. Throw back to second, a late throw solicited by the pitcher. He kind of turned around and stood there and was like, am I going to throw it? I'm not sure. Here comes a Qatar Airlines flight. One time a day to come to Philadelphia. It's not like American or Southwest where you see it like every other couple of minutes, but Qatar Airways, coming from the country of Qatar, only flies in once a day. I don't even think my camera got it, but I don't care. It's too late in the game for me to really care. Foul ball. 1-2. Yeah, there we go. There's a shot of the plane. Swinging a line drive into center field for Ryan Zimmer. And it's bobbled, so Zimmer will drive in a run, and it is 13-8. RBI single for Zimmer. He lines up at first. And this is looking like a pretty sweet deal for the Green Wave. They get a run. And there's the scoreboard right there, 13-8. Throw back, nothing doing. Jack Dempsey takes a strike. It's 0-1. As long as Dempsey doesn't ground to do a double play, next up would be Zach Beebe. There's a liner, but it's caught. And he is safe at first, so the game stays alive for now. And now Zach Beebe will bat. That was a close call. Zimmer had to get back. I don't think that Zimmer's going to be pinch run for, and he's not, mostly because it's the bottom of the 7th and Audubon's down by 5. Not really worth it right now, especially if the game's almost over. 1-0 to Charlie Grady, or rather to Zach Beebe, and that's a plunker. So we have one more batter at stake, and it is Nick Caladros. So still keeping it hot. 2 runners on first and second. And Caladros will step in to face the Terriers. Still 2 outs though, and Audubon is down by 5. They're to stay in for much longer. Crazier things have happened. There's a line drive in the right, and it is a foul. Well done. Gosh, look at this guy. Look at him go. He just slowed down as soon as my camera got him, but he was going absolutely like Forrest Gump sprinting.
Baseball game turned into a track meet.
I know. And on that kind of slick mud, that can't be good. I mean, it's good, but it you know, don't want to slip. It's 1-1 to Caladros. That one's down low, 2-1. Yeah, last time the game was called after 6 innings, or it was during the 6th inning, the game was called due to light during Scott Lynch's at bat. It's 2-1 to Caladros. Outside, 3-1. If he walks here, the bases would be loaded, and that brings up Joey Slavin. He's currently getting his stuff ready on the on-deck circle. Ball 4. Bases are loaded. Not done yet. And time is called. Are we going to have another pitching change? Yes, we will. This may be a loogie platoon. Loogie stands for lefty, one lefty, one out guy. There you go. So it looks like we're going to have a pitching change before Joey Slavin's at bat. This is a pitching change presented by Paroli's Printing. Got bases loaded here for the Green Wave. We'll be right back after this. Bottom of the 7th, 13-8, West Springfield over Audubon. Joey Slavin at the plate. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the 7th. Nick Caladros on first, Zach Beebe on second, and Ryan Zimmer, I think. Yeah, Ryan Zimmer on third. First pitch is down low, 1-0. I told you we're not done yet. 13-8, and the bases are loaded.
That's why you never leave a game early.
Yes, this is exactly why. Strike one. Joey's dad watching from the outfield. He's the only man standing out in right field. Swing and a miss. A great swing at a curveball, just could not connect point A to point B. And now Audubon down to their last strike. Bases loaded versus West Springfield. Joey Slavin stepping in here, looking to cut the deficit even more. 1-2. Ground ball out to second. Throw to first in time. And that's the ball game. So West Springfield from Massachusetts comes on down after playing an inning and a half versus West Deptford yesterday and gives Audubon their first unofficial loss of the season. The final here today is West Springfield 13 and Audubon 8. Terriers were in control for basically, from the start to the finish. They scored 10 runs in the first. Tyler Wiltsey broke the shutout for Audubon very early with a leadoff homer in the bottom half of the first. And then Audubon started to come back a little bit. You know, they had a couple runs here and there, but West Springfield really always kept them in check, and that 10-run first inning was something that Audubon just could not recover from after a disappointing pitching performance. And there's things to work on, but there's also some really bright spots on this ball club. Charlie Copsett has been doing really well. Zach Beebe seems like he's seeing the ball a lot better. And while they're shaking hands here, we'd like to say that this is not all. There are 3 scrimmages coming up this week. We'll go over them shortly, but we will like to say that big thanks to everybody for tuning in today. Oh, that is way too close to my face. There we go. Big thanks to everybody for tuning in today here on the second of 5 scrimmages from Hank Greenberg Field in Audubon here for the 2023 baseball preseason. I realize the shadows from my face aren't really working in my favor.
There you go. That's good.
Is that better?
Yeah, that was better.
Okay, there we go. All right, so Lenape, Tuesday, Deptford, Thursday, and Triton Saturday. As everybody wraps up here, Audubon's getting some running in out in left field, and they take their first unofficial loss of the 2023 spring preseason. The final here today, West Springfield 13 of Massachusetts and Audubon 8. Keep in mind, opening day, April 4th, and again, 3 scrimmages this week, Lenape, Deptford, and Triton. From everybody here at the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting booth, Donna Wilkins, our producer, big thanks to Karina Mayer for coming on out and watching us a little bit, getting some notes and helpful feedback on broadcast journalism. Always great to have people also interested in the industry that aren't just me, myself, and I. And everybody else that works with DWB, and our graphics producer, Gavin Van Rel, huge thanks to him. And from myself, Dan Wilkins, have a great night, everybody, and especially to our folks from Massachusetts who came all the way down here to watch in the grandstands or took out their phones or laptops and watched it right there from their homes. It's huge to have people from all around the country, watching our productions and what we do week in and week out. So big thanks to you guys, whether you're coming from around the corner of the street or hundreds of miles away. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you on Tuesday. Good night.